Welcome back to Let's Talk Chatter That Matters. So let's get right into it.
Okay, so New Year's resolutions. Do we have any? Do we feel like New Year's resolutions are useless? Like, what are we feeling right now?
Well, I just feel like sometimes when we make goals that are unrealistic, it just makes you feel like, oh, this is not going to happen. So this year, I decided not to make any goals. And I was just like, I'm going to do what I can to grow without any specific goals, but just continue to do what has worked for me.
Okay, so that's your resolution.
So
to
that's
grow.
my resolution
Okay.
to grow. Well,
Very good.
actually, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. That is a goal. You're right. So I guess I did make a goal.
Okay, so I actually really like this, right? Of like not having a per se like set New Year's resolution, but then saying that, okay, I'm gonna make these goals for myself. I feel like goals are a little bit more reachable and realistic than say like a New Year's resolution would be. Like I don't know if the statistic is exactly this, but like 60 to 70% of New Year's resolutions that are made, the people are burnt out by February 1st, meaning they don't even last throughout the month. They're completely burnt out.
That's right. So I think for me, I have a goal which I think I'll be able to fulfill, and that is to not use my phone as much. I think the phone is like the thing that's making me really not productive enough. And I think that's what I want to do, is to have less texting, less phone usage, and just being able to breathe without my phone.
So that's specific.
That is actually one of the issues, though, that I always had with the notion of like a resolution is it's about what it actually means is it's a decision to do something. And usually people will say, okay, I'm going to lose weight, which they set all these goals. Unfortunately, though, what ends up happening, like you were saying, by February, those goals kind of fall to the side. And then what ends up happening is individuals start feeling a sense of shame and a sense of failure, and it just wallow. So like one of the things that I've made an intention to do is actually set a theme for the year. So instead of making, having these grand goals, but like for me specifically, the theme for me is depth. So it's like, I know a lot of things, and like, we're embarking on this brain health journey. I want to continue on that. So it's continuing what I've already known, but going into more depth. So 2023 for me my theme will be about, depth and going deeper into, relationships, deeper into knowledge, deeper in terms of connection, deeper in terms of, brain health. So I find that that's going to be a little bit more realistic, because in the past when I've set goals and stuff and I haven't met them, I almost kind of like feel like a fraud, or I'd kind of get down on myself.
Yeah. I think connection is also something that I would say I want to grow in, like connecting to myself first.
Yeah.
Because I think self-awareness is something I'm lacking.
Yeah. So I like the idea of Dr. Hamdan. What she's saying is for us to take what we already have on our plate and make it better, right? Or complete it, because there are a lot of things that we had in 2022 that we haven't even completed, or some of them maybe we haven't even gone halfway, like reading a book. I have so many books that I'm like quarter way or whatever. I want to complete those. So I think that's a great idea. Instead of trying to do new things, let's complete the ones that are already there.
Yeah.
Finishing the task that, especially me, like I was like, I've been trying to lose weight for 2 years, and that never works out. I say it every year. I say it to Safra every December, I'm going to be skinny. Like next year is my year. But instead of just saying that, like take the steps. Like this year I'm drinking more water and like trying to chug as much as I can. And Safra bought me a cute, like a water bottle that I actually want to take and want to use and keep it up and keep it going.
Yeah.
So how do you make, that is such a good point. Like how do you make a goal, even a small goal, happen? Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you have 10 goals or one goal, as long as you do it and make it happen. So setting those small tasks.
Well, there's a famous book on the New York Times bestseller called Atomic Habits. So James Clear, he actually found that one of the things, he used the example of weight loss, where he's saying that the problem is people always like, I want to lose 10 pounds, and they will do it temporarily, work out 3 times a week, eat healthy. But the problem is there's the underlying identity. So if you think that your identity is I'm a fat person, no matter how much you say I'm going to lose weight, you're not going to sustain the action. So you actually have to start at what is the identity you want. And so one of the things is that changing the identity was like, I'm going to be a fit person. So then that identity will then follow with goals which means that, okay, I'm going to work out 3 days a week. I'm going to start running. I'm going to start jogging. So focusing on what is the identity you want, because the absence of understanding what's underneath that, like some people say I want to lose weight, and that's always a great example, but their identity is I'm lazy.
Yeah.
The identity is I'm fat.
What you say to yourself.
Well,
right?
it's more than what you say for. It's how you identify yourself.
Yeah.
So are you saying to fake it till you make it?
Well, but it's really consciously ask yourself, like, what do you want to identify as? Like some people want to be, they want to be identified as like stick skinny. Some people want to be identified as a fit person. Some people want to identify as being an active person. Some people want to identify as being like muscular. So like,
or healthy.
Or healthy, yeah. So like, what is the identity?
I just want to identify as being able to walk up the stairs without being out of breath.
Well, that's so that's cardiovascular.
But sometimes people will say like, I'm lazy. They will define themselves as lazy to give, like, that will be their excuse for not doing anything.
I know, but my biggest problem is this. I'm gonna lose weight, right? And this is what I want to do. And then you get dressed up for something, you look cute, and then you're like, okay, no, I don't need to lose weight. I'm good. I like who I am.
But your identity is I'm beautiful the way I am.
Yeah.
So it trumps.
And then I go and I start eating. So,
Yeah, I feel like that is actually very true, right? Like you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, okay, no, you know what? I'm good exactly the way I am. I'm gonna love my body. But I think in turn we end up losing that ultimate goal, which is just to be healthier, right? And I think that it's not about being skinny, it's not about being fat per se, right? It's just about being healthy and living like a healthy lifestyle. That's my goal for 2023, is just leading a healthy lifestyle. And honestly, I plan to do that by just taking baby steps, right? Like Marina said, just drinking more water, or maybe incorporating greens into your diet a little bit more, right? Like there's just like baby steps you can take. I was talking to one of our coworkers and she said, just go on a morning walk. Don't try to strain yourself by going to the gym. If you don't want to go, don't force yourself to go. Just wake up after Fajr, just go on a morning walk and you'll like notice how your life changes drastically and you'll want to go on those walks, right? I feel like these are more feasible things
that you can do, things that are possible to do easily, like atomic habits. It's like habits that build up small things that become habits, right? So you make them.
I think the analogy he uses is that all it takes is like 1%, like over time. If you do something, one little thing every day over a year, you will improve 32% by the end of the year.
Wow.
In that. Whereas if you don't do something, you're actually going to regress in that skill.
So that is so important.
And it's also
understand that if you stay still, you're not actually staying still. But you're regressing.
But the other thing too is that what I like about that 1% is that it's so Islamic, because Islam says do one thing consistently, small, versus doing one big thing of like And so it's it's so interesting because like modern science is now kind of saying, hey, do these small things consistently
instead of diving right into
it. Whereas Islam has told us this 1400 plus years ago.
Amazing. Honestly, that's so true. That's so true. So this New Year's, what's the goal? To do small
baby
things.
steps.
Baby steps. Finishing a task.
Yes. And inshallah.
Thank you guys so much for listening to our relaunch of Chatter That Matters. We will be back, inshallah, in another 2 weeks with a brand new episode. Thank you. Thank you for chatting with us today. Don't forget to subscribe and share our podcast. And tune in next week for your weekly dose of Chatter That Matters. See you next time.